Elizabeth Arden cream.
This one's wife. Unremarkable woman goes to restaurant with singer. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Yes, hugely important news. Massively important information that you need to know about. Because a beige woman who is both unremarkable and boring went to a restaurant with a singer. And you need to know about this. You don't need to know about what's going on between Israel and Gaza. You don't need to concern yourself about rising crime. You don't need to concern yourself with the cost of living. You don't need to concern yourself with what's going on between Russia and Ukraine. What you need to know about is the fact that a false, very dull woman went out for something to eat, because you have to react to her. You need to understand that whilst you might have gone out for dinner over the weekend, nobody cares about that because you're not the centre of the universe. It might be the case that you went out with some friends. Forget it. Nobody wants to know about that. Everybody wants to hear about the fact that the Duchess of Narcissism attended a restaurant. People want to know about that, of course, because she is a saint that walks amongst us. And we need to know that she was there with somebody else, and the chef said kind words about them. Thus, that means you're all wrong, that she's a horrible, self-absorbed, lying, history-revising narcissist, and you should understand that she is a living saint, that poos empathy, that compassion trickles from her pores, that laser beams of judicious care spray from her eyeballs on a daily basis. And any of you that say to the contrary, well, you've just got hate in your heart and it needs to be purged by purchasing this $400 milk of purging from Sussex.com. This one's wife went out for dinner, and everybody needs to know about it. And of course, it turns up in a PR puff piece, which is people.com, courtesy of Janine Henney and Jenny Hayward, because it takes two people to report on such heavyweight news. This one's wife, Prince Harry, had magical date with Michael Bublé and wife at Canada restaurant. Whoopie-fucking-do. Now, a quick word about Michael Bublé. Twat. He is a narcissist as well. He was seen, if you remember, during lockdown, being thoroughly unpleasant to his wife on camera. So imagine what else goes on behind closed doors. That he is known in the Vancouver area for being a bit of a, how should we say, individual hovering around bars trying to pick people up. That he cheated on Emily Blunt when they were in a relationship together. And he's exhibited a whole host of other unpleasant behaviours. And therefore, interestingly, you have a situation of two narcissists coming together. Of course, it's not going to be problematic for the purposes of having dinner and, of course, serenading said narcissist and her simp in what was probably one of the most cringe-inducing pieces of video footage that has emerged. More about that later. But let's get back to the dinner and see what went on. This one's wife and Prince Harry were extremely friendly, facade management, during a fun double date with Michael Bublé and his wife, Louisiana Lopilato, according to chef Vikram Vij of Vij's in Vancouver, Canada. The restaurateur spoke with People about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's time at the restaurant, whilst having a loaded pistol placed to his head to ensure that he spoke positively. It was ahead of the singer's fun day with the couple at the Invictus Games 1 year to go celebration a day later. They were extremely friendly and nice, Chef Veach says, also revealing that the group arrived about 7 p.m. local time. Well, thank heavens for that we know that they arrived at 7 p.m. I really was wondering when I started to talk about this particular instance what time they arrived at, and they stayed for 3 hours. They came and spoke to the kitchen staff. Why? You're not that important. The kitchen staff have got a job to do. It's a Saturday night, and I beg your pardon, it was a Thursday, which can be pretty popular. I dare say it's a fairly successful restaurant, and it'll be busy. The staff have got meals to get out. They don't need to be standing around talking to a dim-witted ginger, a wife-abusing singer, and a rampant narcissist who has no talent. What are they going to learn from them? Oh, right, yes, hello. Yes, I bought some of your records. You're not a bad singer. As for you two, you're meaningless. Anyway, fuck off. I've got to get the soup on. They came and spoke to the kitchen staff. They were very respectful to let me choose the meal as the chef, he explains. I said I was going to put something together for them, although Harry looked like he wanted Cocoa Pops. I asked them if there were any allergies. They just said hard work, or any things that she didn't feel like having. And she said to work for being paid money. And this one's wife said, I love spicy poontang. I love spicy food. The chef also details that the group enjoyed 3 or 4 appetizers. Well, which was it? You made them. He crafted using local produce, obviously with some Indian spices. Well, obviously. Michael Bublé loved the mushrooms. He was off his tits for a good half hour. And Harry loved the kebabs. Indeed, he said he was off to Bonkers Night Spot. I got them some market chard that this one's wife loved. It just sounds like a town in Somerset. Along with the delicious appetizers, Chef Vij also prepared a host of main dishes for the group. Well, that does tend to happen when you go out for a meal. You have appetizers or starters and then you move on to the main course. But of course, this needs to be explained to us because nobody else has ever eaten main courses at restaurants until this one's wife has done so. It included a lamb popsicle, which this one's wife grabbed and expertly had touching the back of her throat within seconds, which is like a rack of lamb and with marinated mustard and sweet white wine in a fenugreek cream curry, which this one's wife spattered all over her face and then suddenly said, sorry, forgot where I was for a moment. Apparently he'd previously cooked for Prince William and Kate Middleton during their visit to Vancouver in 2016. Well, I'm surprised that this one's wife touched it. It was a very big deal for me to say, hey, this is what your brother loved, and I think you should try this dish, Chef Vij says, before revealing that Prince Harry, 39, absolutely loved the meal. This one's wife, 42, meanwhile, asked for extra chili to spice up her food and tried the goat meat, Chef Vij says. Unfortunately, I spilt too much curry in it, and I dare say she would have been shitting through the eye of the needle the following morning. The group also tried other dishes, including potato cream curry and little black chickpea cakes, which were served with rice and naan. They even actually asked for more bread or naan bread, the chef tells people. Oh, aren't they just like you and I that they asked for more bread or naan bread? What high japes were going on in this blatant advertisement for this chef's restaurant? When it came to beverages, Chef Vij says that Prince Harry sampled Vij's gin in a gin and tonic, while this one's wife had a couple of couple of cocktails. During the dinner, Chef Vij notes that the Duke and Duchess shared plenty of affection. Well, after all, there were people watching and there is a facade to be managed, and Harry's in the respite period. They were extremely affectionate towards each other, he explains. This one's wife always had her left hand on his back, physical assertion of control, and always said very politely, my husband, possession, objectification, or he loves this dish, or he loves this curry or this style. No, Harry's not allowed to say, I like this dish, or I love this kebab, or I love this curry. She has to speak for him. He really has been relegated to simp status. You could see the positivity in their relationship, the love, the affection that they have. The fun that they were having with Michael and Michael Bublé's wife Lou, he adds. The chef explains that an amazing moment also occurred at the end of the night, when, as the group was leaving, this one's wife noticed the kitchen staff were watching and asked if she could go and thank them. Well, of course she's going to do that, because her narcissism perceives that there's a receptive audience that she can go over and hoover up some fuel from. My kitchen is all female staff. They're all my aunties and my sisters, and people who have worked with me for over 30 years for low pay. So they were tickled pink because they were like, "Oh my God, here's somebody so big coming through the kitchen," Chef Veej says. No, she looks pretty gaunt. As well as touring the kitchen, Veej notes a sweet moment took place between Prince Harry and the women working there. It was very respectful, he says, that Harry came up and slapped them on the arses and said, "Who's feeling horny?" and then asked them, "Who cooked the lamb?" To which he says the kitchen staff replied, "We all did." Fucking fascinating. It was so cute, Chef Veej adds, noting that the couple also posed for photos in the kitchen with himself and his staff. Well, of course they'd do so. Facade management. After their dinner, the chef says he gifted the Duke and Duchess special tokens to remind them of their time at the restaurant. "I gave them our Veej's cookbook at the end, signed to them, and I gave Harry a little bottle of Veej's gin because he liked the gin and tonic a lot," he says. "The greedy bastard necked it in front of me. What a pisshead." And despite being a group of incredibly well-known people, the chef highlights that the dinner was a delightfully low-key event. So low-key, it resulted in them having to go and thank the kitchen staff in front of everybody and ensure that a PR puff piece was made of it the following day. The most beautiful part was that even the diners knew that they were sitting there and having dinner and nobody bothered them. That's because nobody's interested in them. It was just a beautiful, magical evening for all of us. I cannot thank them enough for coming, he says, adding, "It's really brilliant free advertising for my restaurant." The fun group dinner came the night before Prince Harry and this one's wife attended the third and final day of the Invictus Games 1 year to go celebration on Friday at the Hillcrest Community Centre in Vancouver. Oh, right, there were some games that they were promoting. Completely forgotten about that. Thought it was all about this one's wife enjoying a freebie, showing off her clothing and eating out. Well, there we are. During the day, the Duke of Sussex trialled wheelchair curling alongside Bublé, and later that night, Bublé performed a version of My Way at the 1 year to go dinner at the Vancouver Convention Centre, which resulted in a mass outbreak of barfing. Bublé's updated lyrics honoured Prince Harry as a visionary, arselicker, and also delivered healing wishes to King Charles, who is currently undergoing cancer treatment after he announced earlier this month that he'd been diagnosed with the illness. Who knew dreams can come true when life tells you you're far from finished? Nothing tames Invictus Games. You play them your way. One man, life-changing plan. He does all he can. He's a visionary. Our healing wishes for your dad. You've earned each day the right to say, "I did it my way," Bublé sang. And there then was mass barfing around the room. Thus, Unremarkable woman goes out for dinner with the singer, world needs to know about it, and you just have. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.